The rumble was a second heartbeat to Elias Thorne. For 15 years, the roar of a diesel engine and the endless stretch of asphalt had been his world. He was a long-haul trucker, a solitary king of the highway, moving cargo from one anonymous warehouse to another. His routes were always the same, desolate, forgotten roads that snaked through the deepest, darkest parts of the country. And his cargo? Always sealed containers, never opened, never questioned. Just specialized medical equipment. His handler, a gruff, unsmiling man named Silas, would always say. Elias never saw the manifests, he just drove. In the beginning, it was just a job. Good pay, no questions asked. But after a few years, things started to shift. It began subtly. A faint, metallic tang in the air around the trailer, even when sealed tight. He'd dismiss it as exhaust fumes, or maybe something from the last load. Then came the sounds. Scratches, faint and insistent, like rats in the walls, but too rhythmic, too deliberate. He'd pull over, check the tires, bang on the trailer walls, but there was never anything. Just the silence of the night and the distant hum of the highway. One particularly long haul through the Appalachian Mountains, the sounds grew bolder. A wet, dragging sound, then a soft thud, like something heavy being dropped. Elias gripped the steering wheel, knuckles white. He told himself it was the cargo shifting, the old trailer groaning under the strain. But a cold dread had begun to settle in his stomach, a persistent knot that tightened with every mile. He started having nightmares. Vivid, visceral dreams of things writhing in darkness, of unseen hands pressing against steel, of whispers that promised unspeakable pain. He'd wake up in a sweat, the phantom smell of ozone and something sickly sweet clinging to his nostrils. He tried talking to Silas once, hinting at strange occurrences. Silas just stared at him with cold, dead eyes. "You drive, Elias. That's all you need to do." The worst was the temperature. No matter how hot the day, the air around the trailer always felt unnaturally cold, a bone-deep chill that seeped into the cab. And sometimes, just sometimes, he'd catch a glimpse in his side mirror, a fleeting shadow, a distortion in the reflection, something that wasn't quite right. He'd blink, and it would be gone, replaced by the mundane reflection of the road behind him. Then came the final run. A new route, deeper into the wilderness than ever before, to a facility that wasn't on any map. The container felt heavier than usual, and the air around it thrummed with a palpable, malevolent energy. The scratching was constant now, a frantic, desperate rhythm. And the whispers, they were no longer just in his dreams. They seeped through the steel, chilling him to the bone, speaking in a language he didn't understand, yet understood perfectly. Words like hunger, pain, and release. As he approached the facility, a massive, windowless concrete monolith shrouded in mist, the truck began to shake violently. The engine sputtered, the lights flickered. He fought the wheel, trying to keep control, but the trailer seemed to have a will of its own, pulling him faster towards the loading bay. He slammed on the brakes, the truck skidding to a halt just shy of the bay doors. The silence that followed was deafening, broken only by the frantic, guttural sounds from within the trailer. Elias, driven by a morbid curiosity he couldn't suppress, grabbed his flashlight and stepped out. The back of the trailer was secured with heavy-duty locks, but one of them, the largest, was hanging loose, its shackle bent and twisted as if by immense force. A thin, viscous fluid, dark and glistening, was oozing from the seam of the door, pooling on the asphalt. It smelled like blood and something else, something ancient and foul. With trembling hands, Elias reached for the latch. He knew he shouldn't. Every instinct screamed at him to run, to forget everything he'd seen and heard. But the whispers were a siren song, pulling him closer. He unlatched the door, and it swung open with a groan, revealing not medical equipment, but a nightmare. Inside, the container was not empty. It was filled with a pulsating, organic mass, a grotesque tapestry of limbs, eyes, and mouths, all fused together, writhing in a slow, agonizing dance. Tendrils, like thick, black vines, had ripped through the reinforced walls, leaving deep gouges. The air was thick with the stench of decay and something else, something that made his stomach churn. And then he saw them. Among the tangled mess, embedded in the flesh, were human faces. Distorted, screaming faces, their eyes wide with terror, their mouths agape in silent agony. They weren't just faces. They were parts of people, absorbed, consumed, their identities swallowed by the monstrous entity. And as he stared, one of the eyes, a milky white orb that seemed to belong to a woman, blinked slowly, then focused on him. A whisper, clearer than any before, slithered into his mind. "You brought us here." Elias stumbled back, gagging, the flashlight clattering to the ground. The entity pulsed, and a new, horrifying sound emerged from its depths, a chorus of agonized moans and desperate pleas, the voices of countless victims, all trapped within the living horror he had unknowingly transported for years. He ran. He ran until his lungs burned, until his legs gave out, until the sound of the truck and the screams faded behind him. He never looked back. But the images, the smells, the whispers, they were etched into his mind, an indelible horror. He was no longer just Elias Thorne, the truck driver. He was the unwitting accomplice, the silent carrier of unspeakable evil. And he knew, with a chilling certainty, that the things he had delivered were now free, and they would remember the man who brought them.